All right, so we're gonna start in a few minutes. So just let's just stay calm. We're starting in a few minutes now. All right. Good evening, everyone. So we are so glad to have everyone here tonight. We're so glad, we're so happy to have everyone on this call tonight. So we will be taking you through a topic tonight that says understanding all robotics components. Yeah, understanding all robotics components. That's the two, section two. Yeah, that is section two of understanding all robotics components. Okay, okay, beautiful. Okay, beautiful. So, um, I'll be sharing my screen anytime soon. But before I share my screen, before I share my screen, I would just like to explain one or two things. So now, I just want you to know that robot is made up of different systems working together, and we can also say uh, a robot is made up of mechanical, electrical, and software components to work together. So, what are the major things we'll be learning tonight? So, we're going to learn more about controllers, sensor, operator, which work for the output devices of the robot. Then, number four, we also learn more about motor drive, power supply, which is the energy source to the robot. Then, we also learn some chassis the sixth one, learn some chassis and robot. The chassis is also a robot, but you can call it a robot or a chassis. You also get to learn some things that helps all of these components to connect together, which is the connecting component cables. And we now move to the next phrase that is on how all components works together. All right, so let me pick it. So let me pick it one after the other. Yes, let me pick it let me just pick it one after the other. So STEM is an is the study of science, like we know. So technology, engineering, and mathematics. So, however, having said that, so STEM is a modern way of learning that combine all these subjects to solve a real time work together. A real time work together. So I'll be sharing my screen very soon. Yes, I'll be sharing my screen very soon. And but before I share my screen, I'll just like to explain one or two things. So I said one of the components we'll get to know is the controller. So the controller is the main computer of the robot. The controller is the main part of the computer of the robot, and it receive it receive an input um, instruction, then it processes and sends it out as a command. Send it out as a command. So one of the things for we'll be using for building our project as time goes on for this class is making use of Arduino Uno, we're making use of ESP32. So those are the major softwares we'll be using for this training. So let me just show you an example of a controller. That's the brain of um, the computer system. They're going to show us an example of the what of a controller. That's the brain of the let me share my screen. Okay, let me share my screen. Yes, yes, I believe you can see my screen. I'm talking about the controller. That's the brain of a what? Of a robot. Yeah, can you see? I believe you are saying I see this from my end. I believe so much. as you can see. Yeah, there is so much you can see from my end here. You can see the brain of a what's it called, a robot from my end. Um, if you cannot see my screen, that means you might not understand what I'm saying here. But if you're seeing my screen, it's a bit privilege for you to understand what I am saying. Or it seems my screen is not being shared, so let me try to share my screen again. So let me try to share my screen. I want to share my screen. Share my screen. Yeah, yes. Let me share my screen. Hmm. Okay, beautiful. So now I believe by now you should be seeing my screen from your own end. I believe you should see my screen. So this is the brain of what? Of the computer, which is the controller. Now, having said that, the brain of it, the what's it called? The brain of the robot is crucial and very, very important. I mean, it is crucial and very, very important. So when I mean that it is crucial and very, very important, I'm talking about the computer himself. The what? The computer, that's the brain of a robot. Now let's move to the next one, which is the sensor of a robot. The what? The sensor of a robot. Now let me share my screen just to show you what I mean by the brain of a robot. Yes, yes, yes. Let me share my screen. Mm-hmm. Mm, of a robot. Yeah. So this is the sensor part of a robot. Now the sensor part of a robot can either be the eyes or the ear or the nose. But however, it's not called the eyes and it's never called the ear. It is in most cases called a distance sensor. It's called a distance sensor. And distance sensor can always be an um, um, ultrasonic sensor, which is ACSRO4. That's the figure for it. And in some cases, it can also be a light sensor. That is LDR. We call it light dependent resistor. Light dependent resistor. So if you notice something in your charger or your any of your device that is indicating a light, that thing can also serve as um, a sensor in the body of the robot, and it is used to automatically um, detect anything on a robot. Then a robot sensor can also be a temporary sensor. Yes, we have two temporary sensors in the robot. We have DHT11 and DHT22. These are the two temporary sensors that I know very well, that I know it works very well, and it functions effectively much very, very well. Now, for these ones I'm showing you on my screen here, they have what we call sensor. As you can see, this is an example of it. The eyes can sense and it can see, it can detect, and it can sense into his memory or into his controller in order to show you the right thing you need. So in our class, these are some of the components we'll be using. Yeah, it is called color sensor, light sensor, um, um, temperature sensor. This humanity sensor, I don't have it, so I might not really go deep into it. And mental sensor, I know a mental sensor very well, but just because I don't have the sensor, so I might not really go deep into it. Then we have motion sensor as well. Then we also have another thing that is called actuator. So the actuator part um of the robot has its own work it does. Do you understand? So it has its own work it does. Actuator helps every friction part of the robot to be well connected and well set. And in most cases, it's always printed in 3D. All right, so I don't want to go too deep, but I would like to give us an assignment. So if you get my assignment, you get the full class, you get a full course for this class. Yes, you get the full course for this class. All right. So I'll share the link. I'll share the link on my bio, and I'll share the link to get the assignment. I'll add it to this YouTube link. The assignment, the assignment link will be added to this YouTube link. So if you can do my assignment correctly, you put your name and your phone number, you definitely get a link from my end for this um, class. All right. Thank you for this class. So we would like to call it a day. We like to call it a day because there's no time by our side, so we have to call it a day. Thank you very much for your time for joining today's class. For joining today's class, it's my pleasure once again to have every one of you. Thank you so much. Thank you and thank you.